Good day, grade 11 students. Another day and another learning for all of you. So for today's lesson, we will be discussing paraphrasing and direct quoting. So last time, we already discussed what is summarizing and how can we do it. And I know that some of you are now confused on what are the similarities and the differences between the three. So today, we'll see. So first, when we say summarizing, it does not match the source word for word, same as paraphrasing. But in direct quoting, it matches the source word for word. Next is, in summarizing, it involves putting the main idea into your own words, but including only the main points. Because here, in summarizing, we are trying to make the original passage as short as possible. But in paraphrasing, it only involves putting a passage from your source into your own words, but still you can include detailed information from the original passage. While in direct quoting, it is usually a short part of the original text. You are just getting a short part from the passage which you think the highlight of the original text. Another is summarizing presents a broad overview, so it is usually much shorter than the original text. So just like what I have said, your goal when you are doing a summary is to make the original passage as short as possible, but the main idea is still there. While in paraphrasing, it changes the words or phrasing of the passage, but retains and fully communicates the original meaning. So it means that here in paraphrasing, you are just putting all the ideas into your own words, but retains including small details that is mentioned in the original text. So the length can be same as the original passage. And here, in direct quoting, cited part appears between quotation marks. So since you are getting the exact words from the original passage, you have to enclose the idea between quotation marks to show that the particular part is not yours but from the author. And of course, the similarity of these three is they must be attributed to the original passage. It means that even though you are putting into your own words in summarizing and paraphrasing, your words should still connected or attributed to the original idea of the passage or the text. So do not change and go far from the original idea. So to fully understand, let's have an example. This is a passage from a book published online by Ronald B. Stadler, 2012, with the title Plagiarism in Colleges in USA, Legal Aspects of Plagiarism, Academic Policy. What is plagiarism? In minor cases, it can be the quotation of a sentence or two without quotation marks and without a citation to the author. In the most serious cases, a significant fraction of the entire work was written by someone else, but the plagiarist removed the author's names and substituted his or her name, perhaps did some reformatting of the text, then submitted the work for credit in a class. Example, term paper or essay as part of the requirements for a degree. Example, thesis, or as part of a published article or book. So the summary of this passage is this. Plagiarism can be defined as using ideas, data, or any relevant information of another without giving proper credit or acknowledgement. Stadler, 2012. So as you can observe, the length of the summarized one is shorter than the original passage and the words is not the same, but the main point is still there. And also, the important thing that you don't have to forget is to cite the author's name or your source. And the paraphrase of this passage is this. According to Standler 2012, plagiarism can occur in small cases, which happens when small parts of a passage are used without enclosing them in quotation marks and citing the author. It can also occur in more grave situations. In these instances, big chunks of the original text are used. There are changes in the format, but the original author is not attributed to, and the work is claimed as the plagiarist's own and submitted to comply with academic requirements or as a part of a material for publication. So as you can see, the length of the paraphrased version is almost the same as the original passage because just like what we have said earlier, in paraphrasing, we still include detailed information from the original text, but with the use of your own words. And still, there must be citation of the source. And this is for the direct quotation of the passage. Standler 2012 states that plagiarism can be the quotation of a sentence or two without quotation marks and without a citation. Example, footnote to the true author. Page 5. So as you can see, the part that we get from the original text, which is this one, is enclosed with the quotation marks because we didn't change any word from the original text, but instead, we get the exact words and idea. And of course, we use those marks to avoid plagiarism, and it is for the readers to know that the particular part is someone's idea and not yours. You also need to include the name of the author and the page number where you get the particular part of the passage. So the question now here is, when are we going to use direct quotation, paraphrasing, and summarizing? First, we use paraphrasing to paraphrase a short text with 1 or 2 sentences or a paragraph with maximum of 5 sentences. So in short, paraphrasing is for short passages. And another is we paraphrase when we want to avoid or minimize the use of direct quotation because when we are writing academic text, it is not good if we often use direct quotation. And another is we paraphrase when we want to rewrite the author's words without changing the idea or use your own words to state the author's idea. Next is we do summarizing when we want to summarize a text with a long section. Example is a page or a chapter of a book or a book itself or a paragraph of an essay or an essay itself. So if paraphrasing is for short passages, summarizing is for long passages. And another reason why we do summarizing is we want to avoid using direct quotation also and use the main idea of the original text and write it on your own words because just like what we have said earlier, in summarizing, most of the time, we just get the main idea from the original text and write it in our own words. And for the last one, for direct quoting, we quote a text which conveys a powerful message or will show less impact if we paraphrased or summarized it. Example of these are constitution, government documents, philosophies, or a remarkable line from a particular person. So just like that. And another is, we quote directly if we want to begin our discussion with the author's stand or highlight the author's expertise in your claim, argument, or in your discussion. So now that we already know the similarities and the differences and when we are going to use the three, let's proceed to the guidelines in paraphrasing and direct quoting for us to easily paraphrase and quote directly when we are writing academic text. Since we already discussed the guidelines in summarizing in our past discussion, let's just focus on the two. So for paraphrasing, the first thing that you have to do is to read and understand the meaning of the text. Do not stop reading until you fully understand the message that the authors want to convey. Number 2 is use a pen to highlight or underline the important words or the main idea of the text, or in short, annotate the important terms. Number 3 is recall the key words or the main idea that you highlighted when you read it. Number 4 is write in your own words what you understood about the ideas in the text. Number 5 is get the original text and compare it with your paraphrase. It is for you to check if your output is still connected to the idea of the original text. And for the guidelines in direct quoting, the first thing that you have to do is copy exactly the part of the text that you want to use. Take note that in direct quoting, you are not allowed to change any word from the part of the text that you used. Number 2 is use quotation marks to show the beginning and ending of the quote. Number 3 is you have to record the details of the original source. This might include the author's name, date of publication, the title, the publisher, the URL, and the page numbers. Take note that indicating the page number is necessary in citing sources in quoting. And number 4, you have to format your quotation properly. Take note, if your direct quotation is more than 40 words, it should be indented. And that's all for today. Hopefully you learned and at the same time enjoy our discussion. But if you have questions and any clarifications regarding to our lesson, you can send it to me to our group chat. Thank you for watching.